Thank you. And it is the truth. In this very room, there's all that we need, all the joy, all the love, all the hope. So our theme for 2017 is values-based spiritual living. And in January, as do most Centers for Spiritual Living, we do back to basics. Because Ernest Holmes had these basic principles, and it's good for us to return to them and look at them again, because it's the meat of the teaching. It's the juice of the teaching. So, for back to basics, first of all, we're going to do some review of what I've done earlier in the month. Early in the month, we talked about the thing itself. Now, that's what Ernest Holmes, that was one of the many names that Ernest Holmes, our founder, used for God, or Spirit, or the divine intelligence, or the divine whatchamacallit, or whatever you want to call it. Because what we know is that it doesn't matter what we call it. We call it because it's not male and it's not female. It transcends all of that. It is everything. And so to be able to call it, I mean, certainly sometimes people refer to it as Mother, Father, God, or Father, and that's just fine, whatever works for you, but it's way more than that, way, way more than that. So that's kind of the thing itself. And then last week we talked about the way it works. The thing itself works by living, moving, and having its being in, through, and as each of us. We are its outlet. Not its only outlet, but we are its outlet. And so we know that the thing itself is alive in, through, and as us. Now, it works whether we're aware of it or not, because it's a law, and it works whether we really wanted to or not, because there are some things that we would rather not create in our lives that we have created. So we talked about how all of creation moves from the invisible to the visible. Starts as a thought, ends up as a thing or an experience. Moves from an idea into form, and that's the way it works. We explored how it can be compared to a seed growing, the seed as the idea. Our thoughts are like seeds because they get planted in what Ernest Holmes called the law, which is that amazing universal powerhouse that somehow turns thoughts into things, somehow turns our beliefs into what outpictures in our lives. Now, we don't exactly know how that happens, but we don't need to know. But it has been tested and tested and tested that we do that. And so the seed is like our thought. The soil is like the law that has everything that is needed to bring it into fruition. And then what we get are the results in our life. So in order to change our reality, in order to change our experience, we can change our thoughts. We can change our outlook. We can change our attitudes. So the topic for this week is what it does and how to use it. Now, perhaps our teaching can be fairly well summed up in one sentence. There is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. So, what it does, the thing itself, or this creative process, it fills the mold that we prepare for it. It's like we prepare this mold with our thoughts and our beliefs. The universe responds to us, it's said, by corresponding to our thoughts. It gives us more of what we think about, more of what we focus on, good, bad, or indifferent, and more of what we expect. But the Christian Bible says, in the beginning was the Word. Now, we understand that as the divine consciousness, the knowingness of this thing that we call God. In the beginning was the Word. It also represents our word, what we speak into this creative process that we live in. And in the Hebrew Bible, in Genesis, God said, "Let there be." And there was. And so that is the divine speaking its truth. And then when the divine says, "Let there be," it happens, folks. Because there is that amazing thing that we call the law that has all the stuff and all the know-how, all of the intelligence and all of the resources to bring anything into creation. Let there be, it says. And then it said, and there was. And it was very, very good. That is how creation happens. Now, there should have been a chocolate on your chair when you came in. If you haven't yet, if you haven't eaten it yet, if you have, that's fine. You might want to unwrap it and look at it, because it was created from a mold. And just as it was created from a mold, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yay.
We forgot to put one on the piano, I'm sorry.
We got it taken care of.
Oh. Oh, it was there, she couldn't see it.
Oh, for God's sake. If I can dish it out, she can give it right back. I love it.
So we create the mold for our life with our thoughts and with our words and with our expectations.
Oh dear, we're out of control.
Give them chocolate.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like we're the mold and spirit is the chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Spirit is the chocolate. So we can create lives of lack and loneliness and limitation, or we can create lives of opportunity and joy and love, and maybe lots of chocolate, because that's God too, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So we provide the mold, and spirit fills it. Now the thing itself also channels our intention. Think of it being like electricity. Electricity is all around us, and it has always been here. There was the potential for there was electricity thousands of years ago before anybody knew how to use it. And so in order to be able to use it, we have to know that it exists, and we have to tap into it. And so even though it's always been here, we haven't always, humanity has not always known how to use it. For electricity needs to have a way to be channeled, to be of value. It comes from an infinite source. There's no lack of electricity. And yet, without it being channeled through a space heater or a toaster or a computer or one of our electronic devices, then it's no good. It's out there, but it's not used. But if it doesn't work, if our lights don't work or don't work right, we know that it doesn't mean that electricity has disappeared from the universe. We know that it means that somehow there's something that has been blocking the flow, because electricity wants to flow just as spirit wants to flow, and spirit wants to flow in, through, and as us. So the power of the universe is kind of like that electricity thing. It is always here for us, waiting for us to direct it with our intention. For our intention is so very, very important. There are times that we manifest things in our lives that we don't really want. but with our intention. I see a few chuckles around the room there, yeah. With our intention, we can focus this power that is the universe. So it's important to be very clear as to how we direct it. There was a couple, they were having their 60th wedding anniversary, their 40th wedding anniversary, and it coincided with their 20th birthdays. They both had birthdays the same year. And so, their 60th, oh geez.
They got married when they were 20.
Okay, they got married when they were 20, now they're 60. It's their 40th wedding anniversary. Wow. You know, and I always thought I was pretty good at math. So anyway, the night before the big celebration, a magic fairy appears and says, I would like to grant each of you your heart's desire because you have been such a wonderful, loving married company. Couple. Right. And so, the wife thinks about it and she says, oh, I know what I want. I want a dream vacation with my beloved husband. And so, poof, they're on the French Riviera, enjoying themselves on the shore, a beautiful shore. And so the fairy, magic fairy says to the husband, and what is your heart's desire? Yeah. And he thinks a minute and he says, well, what I'd really like is for my wife to be 30 years younger than I am. And poof, he was 90. So, this amazing power, the power of the universe is waiting for us to direct it. And of course, you know, you've all heard the phrase, be careful what you ask for, you might get it. But we get to choose. We get to choose what's going to outpicture in our lives. And it's important to be very clear. The power is within us to create the life we want. We are the channel through which this spiritual energy moves. We are the channel through which this creative energy moves. We are like a lamp that shines the light of God. But the difference between us and a lamp is that a lamp doesn't have any choice. It simply works when it's turned on, doesn't work when it's turned off. But we can decide. So, just as we have faith when we turn the light switch on, that the light will go on, we can, through our spiritual practices, we can develop that same kind of faith in our word, in the power of prayer, in the power of stating what we want with feeling and joy. So the power to create the life you want is within you. You are the place where the light of the divine shines through. So here's an affirmation. I am the place where the light shines through. Say that with me.
I am the place where the light shines through.
Once more.
I am the place where the light shines through.
Feel that. Take it in because it is the truth. You are the place where the light shines through. And so in addition to our intention, we use it by knowing and remembering our oneness with it, that it is available for us all the time, and that it is limitless. Limitless. Reverend Michael Gott shared this in the Science of Mind magazine sometime last year. He said, I have an image in my mind that helps me understand limitlessness and limitation. I see myself standing in a rain shower, trying to collect water, but my bucket is upside down. we see this little one. She can have fun drumming on that, but she's never going to catch any water with that. Because if we don't open up ourselves as a vessel, this spirit, this power cannot flow through us. So he went on to say, the rain is streaming everywhere, but I'm not receiving it. It seems silly, but this mental picture helps me remember that God is forever showering blessings upon us, but we can hold the blessings only for which we have a container. The word we often use instead of a bucket is our consciousness. Our consciousness is what holds the space for the divine to come through. The universe is absolutely full of good, but we can only accept it if we open to it. And we use this power by minding our thoughts and by plugging in to this divine power. The Christian Bible in the book of Romans says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So we have to know that it's possible to make our lives and the world better. And we have to be willing to think in new ways if the old ways are not working. We do that thought by thought, by setting a high watch, noticing when we are moving into judgment, when we're making assumptions, when we're making up stories. I remember in ministerial school, we used to talk a lot about MSU, making stuff up. And we do it. You know? And so we get to watch that. We get to watch that. And so we can ask ourselves some questions. Are these thoughts supporting my magnificence? Or are they pulling me down? Are they keeping me connected to my limited past? Or are they opening up a way for me to spread my wings and soar? And if the thoughts are not working, we may want to choose them. Once we're conscious of the thoughts that don't support us, we have other choices. So what it comes down to is that we've each got to make the decision moment by moment to consciously choose thoughts that support our magnificence and that bring about what we want to see in the world. For example, if we have thoughts of not being enough, we can remind ourselves that we are expressions of the divine, that it has created us just as we are, that no matter what mistakes we may have made in the past, we can change our future starting right now. There's no need to stay stuck in old ways of thinking that no longer serve us. Or if I think I'm not lovable, I can remember that all that God is, I am. Because it has moved its very life into me. And if I sincerely go out and start loving and spreading love in every area of my life that I can, you know what I'm going to find? I'm going to find that love starts showing up for me in unexpected ways, unexpected places, to bless me over and over and over again. And we plug into the creative power through spiritual practices like meditation and spiritual mind treatment. When we quiet our minds in meditation, that still small voice, it has a chance to speak to us. It has a chance to get through to us in ways that we can understand. For all of us kind of take that in differently. And when we practice spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer, what we do is, first of all, we recognize the allness, the oneness, the totality of this divine thing that goes by many names. We then remember that we are one with it, that all that it is and all that it has is ours to call upon and use for any reason. And so from that place, we can state our truth. We can state our desire as if it had already happened, as if it was already ours, as if we could already live in the world and embody truth. Now, once we've convinced ourselves of that, and sometimes that's the trick, sometimes that doesn't happen instantly, but once we have convinced ourselves that what we have called forth is already here for us, then all we need to do is give thanks and let it go and move on into our lives, paying attention for the signs and the miracles and the guidance that we will receive. So affirmative prayer is an amazing tool that allows us to plug in and to connect with the amazing creative power that is always available for us. Now, I'm going to close with a picture and a quote from my ministerial mentor, Reverend Jane Beach. She's recently taken up painting. And so what she does is she allows Spirit to guide her. And some of her things are so fun and so beautiful, and she has just done such amazing work for someone who only started painting last year. So here's what she has to say. Because the universe continually says yes to me, my question becomes, what do I really want? If I'm unhappy, am I willing to say yes to happiness? Or am I stuck in my misery? If I want love, do I say yes to receiving love? Or am I stuck in being not good enough? Today I stand tall, consciously look at what I truly want and say yes to it. Today I stand tall, consciously look at what I truly want and say yes to it. So what do you say? Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And so it is. And so let's take that into prayer. As practitioners, stand with me in high consciousness. In all of everything, there is one power, one love, one way of having this one life move through us. We are here as part of that one, as part of the love, as part of the energy, as part of the power, as part of the creativity, each in our own unique way. Here, because Spirit needed an outlet. Spirit needed an outlet as each of us. And so that's what we are. We are the light. And knowing that, what I claim for each of us is that as we go through our week, as we go into our week, we remember this truth about ourselves. We remember that we choose our thoughts. We receive delightful and frequent reminders from Spirit that we can choose the highest and the best, that we can choose magnificence, that we can choose love, that we can choose service, and so we do. I know that all that is needed for this to happen and to bring joy into our lives has already been provided. It is ours to say yes to. It is ours to accept. It is ours to enjoy. And so knowing this, knowing that this power is in my hands and in my heart and in my mind, I am grateful, grateful, grateful. I accept this truth. I let it go. I let the divine do what it does so well, which is create on our behalf. And if you would like to accept this as your truth also, I invite you to say with me, and so it is.